Alright, what's up, yins guys? Time for another video. I'm gonna talk about how people like to manipulate and control emotions almost like at the snap of the finger. A lot of times on stage. I don't want to just talk about the religious preachers. I'm gonna throw in the, well, some of them are with the racial political culture, you know, especially the protest culture. Some of them are preachers and some of them are secular, but how they like to get crowds riled up. But different combinations of things too. If it's not, people fall for it, clap like trained baby seals. But yet they also like to do a thing too where, okay, making sounds in certain music, like ooh, music where they can say some real calm, soothing voice and put some woo music, and then all of a sudden people start crying and bawling. Grown-ass women, men start crying and bawling. I remember our old videos. You can probably look right now. I don't know if you think some of them are still on the internet. Benny Hinn, remember him? He was even making signs that we were taught were cross between a gang sign and a devil sign, making people fall down on the floor. You got this, yeah. And check out, I gotta look and see if it's still there myself. Benny Hinn, alive in Milwaukee or something like that. He was doing a stink sign like this, somehow pointing and making people fall down. Some woman, ooh, crying and shit like that. They have the power to do that. You can do a soothing voice, but then you can also do a lot of yelling. But I'm laughing, I'm talking parentheses here. This may be off the subject, but Sam Kinison supposedly was destined and meant to be a preacher, but he went a different way. At least he was entertaining and funny. He made people laugh. He yelled. That's just something I'm saying in parentheses, a little relevant. And not to pick on anybody because of their race. You can talk about a white guy and a black guy. And no different than, I don't know, I don't even yell on YouTube, you know, but can you see me doing a real soothing voice? And okay, yeah, the real soothing voice not only can make people start crying, there's this thing, you can have a soothing voice on TV or soothing music, and one person starts yawning and the other person starts yawning too, and then it can just program whatever crap into your head, make you cry, make you go to sleep. If you want to make a reference to John Carpenter's They Live, signal antenna, which TV is a signal, political or religious. Sleep, sleep. Never mind that everybody is disguised as reptilians, and Rowdy Piper got the special glasses to see. But anyway, yeah, then you got the preachers, both black and a white guy. I mean, how you can go soothing and then everybody is in emotion, but then you can start yelling and everybody is riled up, clapping, cheering, and jumping in the air at the snap of the finger. Well, you can go real soft, and on the snap of the fingers, everybody starts jumping around. Yeah, yeah, you know, audience like it's like everybody, you know, no different than a rock concert or something. They're all, the massive crowd is all cheering and yelling. And okay, you'd have to get clips, and I don't want to use their clips. You probably look at them or saw that shit on TV or yourself. If I use clips as a sample like everybody else does, I don't want to mess with the copyright. I already do enough of using music on my own channel. But anyway, yeah, you can get T.G. Jakes. They both do that, jumping, you know, something like that. You know, I'm just doing a basic idea what they're doing. You got the black guy that'll do that in his stereotypical way. Then you got the white guy like Steve Pernick, you know, hipster. Sometimes he has his hipster beard and sometimes he has shaved off. He's doing the same shit. A white guy doing the same shit. You know, scream, yelling, jumping around, and everybody's going, ah, you know, the audience is going wild. It's manipulation. I mean, everybody, you could get one person start yawning, everybody else starts yawning, or you get people riled up, or there's a thing where some preacher, or, well, it's different than, well, different scenario of intimidation, and it could be intimidation if you had your father as a younger kid, you know damn well you're doing wrong, and man, he's yelling this, I will beat your ass. There's a thing like that too, where there's intimidation. You can have militant style intimidation. It can be militant style military intimidation, keep you in line, or you can have the gangster style black guy or white pseudo gangster guy on steroids and tattoos. Yeah, the intimidation, which they would criticize the militant style, but they're the same kind with guns, you know. They're just no different. But yeah, people were capable of doing that. Well, yeah, they can belittle you. They can condescendingly belittle you with the medium type way. And the yelling, okay, and when I mentioned with the yelling, they can do two things to you. They know what they're doing with their yelling. It's not always one way. They can do it to get you all riled up, you know, like everybody's yelling and cheering, clapping like baby seals, to do that. Or they can get the sheep to have their head down, not necessarily intimidation, but like have their head down in a what do you call it? They want to humble you, and it'll dovetail into what I preached in videos about both the religious and secular people that don't like each other have the same technique. You're not allowed to talk at their level. Whether I always preach about how the far right is and the far left, you can't talk at their level. You got to be a notch or two, humble yourself before them. The far left, you got to humble yourself, always one down. You got to be one down to the person who is re-educating you or whatever the hell like that. You know what I mean? To get you to clap like baby seals, the yelling and rowing up, blah, 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 blah. Or they can do the kind of yelling. Oh, because it's all in body language too. They can get you all riled up like crowd roaring. You know, that was the word I was looking for, the crowd roaring. Or they can do with body language, get everybody, all the sheep, you know, head down and cringing down. And the one that wants you to humble yourself, they don't have to do it. And then the ones that always the second in command, or the beta male of either side, religious or secular, you got to have yourself a notch or two down below him. But then if that person down there, I made a point sarcastically in a video where that can go from the top down. The one person, the beta male second in command, is recruiting or evangelizing to you, whether a religious or secular thing. That person got to go down a notch for them, and then if that person is teaching the other ones, he's down below the other one, and it can go from up here down. So somebody's going to be at the bottom, you know, the bottom level of the thing, and graced with the opportunity to work his way up a notch over the other if they're obedient, cringe to the person enough, and or whatever the hell too. It's a big obedience game, and it's kind of a, all right, I'm giving you the thing. It can be riling somebody up, or it can be soothing, like hypnosis. They can do a hypnosis or do a riling you up, and yeah, that's pretty much like how they do it. And yeah, well, I had to pause there for a second. Yeah, the protest culture, you could go all day about it. They're the loud preachers. They do it to get everybody enraged. Unlike T.D. Jakes or Steve Furtick, well, you will have the preacher, a different kind of black preacher in there that may, a more based black YouTuber or a black preacher may not want nothing to do with that shit. But a woke, corrupt black preacher or white preacher, white leftist preacher would be, you know, with the woke, but yet like some woke or secular too. But if you have the corrupt, you can name a few, like Gal Sharpton, you know, yeah, mention some names. The variation of her, they'll yell to belittle a person, they'll yell to humble their sheep, and they want to not just yell at the sheep, they want to humble, would intimidate who they regard as the enemy too. And but their job is also to cause people to be enraged, you know, whatever black somebody either they choose, that they pick and choose that's black for their benefit, to get everybody riled up and march in the streets, make demands of government, make demands that government does something to a whole other race of people that they blame and lump together. So I said, yeah, it breaks down the leftism and far leftism, far rightism have a couple subcategories. These are splinter groups, if you will. And yeah, the protest culture, the has their far left. They will have preachers, but then have secular people, even though the secular woke don't like the preachers, but the secular woke don't like preachers, but they will use some preachers too, you know what I mean? So that's why don't want to contradict myself too. That can go either way depending on where you're at, because even though they don't like preachers, they don't mind a corrupt fake preacher being put in there to hypnotize and enrage the masses. But anyway, my one point is, yeah, that culture likes to do the yelling and preaching. Get the crowd riled up and get them enraged. I mean, there's some kinds of, you know, religious preachers that some of their sheep mean well too, but yeah, even the far right, they want to cause people to get enraged too, to be fair. Anyway, it invokes emotion. And if it's TV, yes, it's subliminal with radio signals. But before we ever had radio signals, okay, and TV, radio and TV, and people did it in person, they did it with music, playing soft music, get people to cry or play some kind of music. Beat the drum, get everybody, you know, raising their fists. I mean, it dovetails into the Babylonian sorcery people had. They can use a soothing voice to hypnotize, or they can, okay, well, at the same time, they'll, whether it was the Babylonian people or people in the Inquisitions, yell and intimidate and play music to get you cry or get you to, well, they'll either throw you in a fiery furnace, burn you at the stake, impale you or whatever at the time, you know, whether it was in the Inquisitions or whether it was the days of Nebuchadnezzar or any other kind of culture out there that, yeah, yell and we will impale you, we will do this and that to you if you don't obey, you know, the intimidation that way too. I mean, it came in a lot of different forms, but, you know, I brought up things. They knew how to strike harps, do soft music, because, you know, radio signals will do for different things to humans' minds and animals' minds too. Cause rage, cause fear, cause cringing, and cause crying. It'll cause, but they didn't have the radio signals back then, but they had sorcery laced with music, beating, whether it's beating of drums, striking of soft music. They can make people cry. They can make people intimidated. They can make you enraged whenever they feel like it at the snap of a finger. You know what I mean? So in some cases, you know, the corrupt preacher will talk about Nebuchadnezzar. He knows so much about him. Well, it takes one to know one in some cases. You know, if they're corrupt. You know, all it is like tools that can be misused for nefarious and manipulative ways. That's what it is, and that's how people operate. But in modern times, yes, it really is subliminal too, when it's coming through your TV and, yeah, coming through radio, or, well, even subliminal in modern days if you're not at a TV or they're live. They make noises, not just with their musical instruments, you know, they got some kind of sound frequency in there too to get people riled up. Which they were broadcasting sound frequency during the protest culture in 2020 and making people violent, making people smash cars, making them block traffic in towns that had nothing to do with Minneapolis and George Floyd and all that shit, you know what I mean? Yeah. It was subliminal while putting their face on there, making it and turning it into an idol, and even the corrupt preachers were pushing it. You know? Yes, the mass protest culture, yeah. They don't all do that on their own. It's mass hypnosis, and they're broadcasting radio frequencies. Yeah, I might be sounding like the Fullerton Informer, right? And Joe Rimbriano there, he talks about that shit, and I believe him, even though I don't agree with all his shit. But keep in mind, even though it's just a movie that was sending a message, hell yeah, I'm one of those people you may call idiots that grew up with John Carpenter's They Live, broadcasting hypnotic signals, subliminal things. That shit is damn for real. And resisting it will cause you headaches, and it dovetails into HAARP mind control. They can cause people to hemorrhage or bleed out, cause people to get headaches, cause anger, outrage, cause paranoia, or cause crying for no reason, and make you cringe in the corner or in your room somewhere, or make you scared, even though. But then it can make you into, even if you're opposite of the person on steroids. Say if you're a skinny wimp that's scared of everything, they can get a right broadcast frequency and broadcast it into you, make you feel like you're strong and do something stupid to get yourself killed. Oh yeah, you name it, they can do it. People got the capabilities. And the preachers who are on TV, the devil is supposed to want to get rid of, or whatever, the devil and the government. Government is a devil, and the devil is government, and government is a devil. They're not trying to get rid of all of those preachers, especially your TV preachers. Matter of fact, your government that you're a devil allows a lot of preachers. They don't stop them from being on because it gives them revenue. They work. Some of them work for the government. They pay their protection money. Yeah, fools are paying taxes to the government, and they're tricked into giving their hard-earned money to these preachers. They're allowed to do it if they pay their protection money to the government, but some of them conveniently, if they step out of line, maybe don't pay all their protection money, or somebody gets pissed at them, then they'll get indicted for wire fraud. They'll get indicted for all kind of tax evasion, because you could be a non-profit and you're moving that money and using it for your own benefit. Government don't care if you're doing it, but if you piss somebody off, you do a no-no, if they don't take you to the woodshed mafia style, they throw you under the bus by getting you for tax and evasion and everything else. That's what they do. Well, occasionally you'll get a good preacher that'll get attacked that way. That's up to you who a good preacher is. They'll attack them too. Well, they'll attack the preacher that doesn't make no shitload of money if it pisses them off. And guess what kind of preachers attack them? The preachers I talk about that make all the money. Well, they don't have to be the TV preachers. They can be the high and mighty ones that ain't on TV with the big fancy buildings. They don't like some smaller person that might be more of God, or whatever, some kind of a way that preaches some truth that threatens their little Ponzi scheme there. They can wind up killed, they can wind up arrested, they can wind up getting audited and investigated. It's all a big fucking game. That's basically what it is. And they'll tell you how to interpret morality and scripture, which I say that they know full goddamn well that it's laced with voodoo and sorcery. Well, they tell you to defend some pretty disturbing things that I regard as disturbing in the Old Testament Bible. which I'm glad that we don't have to care about. And I think like Jesus Christ was there to, I would tell Joe Imbriano himself, Jesus Christ was meant to take that away. Even though I can't stand religion, I don't give a fuck what the atheists say or what the Aleister Crowley fans say. But anyway, that's, I think I'm going to end it right here. That's it. See you next time.